Good evening and welcome to the 2020 annual meeting of the Pulaski Area Historical Society. My name is Stephen Karcz and I am our organization's curator and lead researcher. I will be presenting the curator's report detailing this last year's activities at the museum as well as several ongoing projects. Historic Hazelwood. Last winter, the Pulaski Area Historical Society was invited to the historic Hazelwood House in Green Bay to represent and educate the public on Polish traditions during the Christmas season. Many of you will remember these old traditions as you practice them in your own homes, and still do. We discussed the blessed opłatki, the straw we place beneath the tablecloth, even the importance of fish at the Christmas meal, carp and herring. The museum loaned several artifacts to Hazelwood, and several of our members volunteered to help educate others on the Polish Christmas. Besides Poles, other groups were represented, including Czechs, Dutch, Mexican, Southeast Africans for Kwanzaa, and Jews for Hanukkah. The 2020 Historic Bus Tours. Last March, for Casimir Pulaski Week, we closed out the week with our second annual Historic Bus Tours, viewing many historic sites around Pulaski, Angelica, and Hufflepark. We began our tour in one of Pulaski's oldest and iconic sites, Zielinski's Ballroom, a venue known more for its dances and polkas and less for its roller skates and women wrestlers. We partnered with Insight and later were fortunate enough to be given a tour of the home of John Peplinski, which is located next to Brad's service station. The first floor itself has been restored to its early 1900s look, and the period furniture and artifacts from the early days when it was home to the Peplinski family and the Merchants and Farmers Telephone Company. In the afternoon, we traveled to Angelica, where I discussed why the little community died off. Answer: the lumber industry moved west and the railroad moved to Pulaski. But in its heyday, Angelica was a bustling community with a doctor, several blacksmiths, 2 hotels, a post office, a general store, an ardent temperance movement based out of the Methodist Church, and several sawmills that kept the community growing and thriving. Did you know that William Upham, one of Angelica's leading businessmen, went on to found the city of Marshfield, and later became governor of Wisconsin in 1894? Besides Angelica, we also traveled to Hufflepark to take a short tour of the historic Hufflepark Tavern. Along the way, our guests on the bus were told stories of a petrified corpse in Angelica, a Polish count who bought hunting lands near Laney, and a fire-spreading apparition plaguing a family in Pittsfield. Other activities. Just because activities have been limited at the museum, it doesn't mean I or the board have been idle. I myself have continued to do family research for anyone who asks, free of charge. My last research subject was a man named Arthur Yack, whose father owned a grocery store in Pulaski in its early days as a village. Summit Street was once Yack Street, and Flora Street was named after Arthur's sister. Arthur shipped out to France in 1918 during World War II, and while there was a motorcycle courier, where he was awarded high honors by the French government for gallantry on the field of battle. He was awarded a Silver Star. Beyond that, my research has appeared in various sources, including our newsletter, our Facebook page, and the Pulaski News. On other fronts, Steve Peplinski and Mike Brzezinski have taken on digitizing many of the collection's photos to create the start of a digital archive that will serve our community for years to come. Steve Peplinski also created the Peplinski Family Display, which is going to remain up so that once the current pandemic restrictions are lifted, more people can visit and learn about this founding family of Pulaski. Maria Doe has been busy working on a virtual tour of our museum to give the public access to the collection on display during the pandemic. Other board members have taken on other projects, which you will hear about throughout the night. My closing thoughts. I want to inform you that the collection is safe and growing. Several wonderful artifacts have recently come into the collection that I hope to put on display next year. All this is only possible because of the kindness, forethought, generosity, and energy of our members, our sponsors, and the community around us. I want to personally thank all of you for your contributions and the interest you have shown this organization. 2020 has not been kind, and it's in this lost year that we must endeavor not to lose ourselves, and that includes the past which made us. It goes without saying, then, please speak to your elders, collect their cherished memories, always endeavor to learn more about the past, take care of yourselves, and be kind to one another. Thank you again, and this ends the Curator's Report for 2020.